So I want to start sitting in a seated position. So we're just going to do a few warming up here. I know it's noon, so most of us have already moved this morning. So let's find a comfortable seated position. So it can be cross-legged, it can be on a chair, it can be on your knees. So whatever works for you. And then for a moment, place your hands onto your thighs and start to lengthen your spine. So often when we lengthen the spine, we're gonna start to curve in the lower back. So we wanna keep the spine neutral. So it's really that belly button, slightly bringing it in and up. So not pushing forward or pushing too much backwards. It's really finding that balance in between the two. And as you lift your belly button up, it's not really gonna lift, it's just that impression of lifting. Your chest bone is gonna lift and automatically your shoulders are gonna drop down a little bit. And then lengthening the neck. So we just wanna find space to breathe here and move. And then take a couple of breaths here. You can close your eyes. Just observing, arriving, especially if you were working before or being very busy. It's always good to arrive to your practice within yourself so that you can stay focused on the movements, on what's happening in your body, on your breath, and maybe a little bit less on your mind in the next hour. And then release your arms. And then let's inhale and bring the arms up and overhead. Turn the palms and press the arms down. So let's do this 2 more times. So inhaling without lifting the shoulders too much. So you want to keep your shoulder blades nice and down. Exhaling down. Inhaling up last time. Exhaling down. Bringing the left hand onto the floor. Inhaling and then exhaling, going over. And we're going to move here. So inhaling back up, right hand comes down, and then lifting the left and coming down. Make sure your both hips remain very stable. So it's really an opening to the side. So we're balancing between the two. You can press into your hand that's on your floor to push that hip back to the floor. And then the next time you're at your first side, we're going to stay there for 3 breaths. So inhale, exhale, finding a little bit more opening into the side body. And then see if you can turn your palm that's in the air to the front, opening your armpit, creating a little bit more space into the ribs. Reaching further, maybe coming a little bit more down, but don't lift that hip. And then with your next inhale, coming back, placing the right hand on the floor, the other hand reaching up and going over. And then turn the palm to the front, open the shoulder, armpit faces forward, press that left hip into the floor. 3 breaths. And an inhale, coming back. Bring the arms in the back, so you come onto your fingertips, the fingers point back, roll the shoulders back, and this time really bring the shoulder blades together. Take a deep breath in and press your chest forward. You can start to lift your head if you want, rolling the shoulders back, really opening in the chest. So we're not leaning backwards, we're just focusing on opening in the chest. Breathing mainly in the chest here. You will have probably a little bit more trouble reaching the belly. And then release, bring the hands in the front. So place your hands onto the floor. Press your fingers down, and this time start to round your shoulders, round your upper back, round your whole spine. Bring the chin to the chest, opening our back. And then release. One more here, sitting. So let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, turn towards the right. So again, 3 times moving. So inhaling up, keep that length in the spine. Exhale, release. So don't collapse. It's just a release of the tension that we create as we inhale, exhale. We have all that space, we can move. Inhale up, exhale. Next time you're on your first side, we're gonna stay there. So hand onto the knee, other hand in the back. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, maybe rotate. If you wanna work a little bit with a stretch for the neck, you can look back, you can look to the front, or you can look to the side. So whatever works for you, explore where you would like to have a little stretch now, but don't forget that the main movement is the twist in the spine. With your next exhale, come back. Inhale, reach your arms up, and then exhale, turn to the other side. So finding length, hold on to your legs, other hand in the back. Inhale, and then again, explore with your head. The back shoulder rolls back and down, opens the chest a little bit more. So in here, the belly is very relaxed. So we should really consciously release all the muscles in our belly so that we can go a little bit further. So this is a good massage for the internal organs. So I hope you didn't just have lunch. If you're hungry, this might probably make it a little bit worse because it's really preparing the stomach for and the internal organs for food. Inhaling up and exhaling, bring the hands down. So we're gonna bring the knees together and turn on to hands and knees. So bring the wrists underneath the shoulders, bring the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And then just move forward. So we're gonna move over our wrist. So if you have wrist issue, go very slowly. If not, the goal here is to stretch in the wrist. So press the heel of the hand down and then move forward. Only as far as is comfortable. So there's a lot of weight here on your hands. And then come back. And now move back, loosening up a little bit. So it's a very gentle move. And then coming back to center. We're gonna stretch out the right leg, press your right heel back. Really feel that stretch into your leg. And then lift your leg up. So you don't wanna lift the hip, you wanna lift your leg. Here you're gonna feel the core getting very active. So if you feel your belly is falling down, see if you can activate the core. As soon as you do this, you will feel your chest becoming a little bit bigger, your spine becomes neutral. So continue to press that back heel back. And then lengthen out the left arm. So the opposite arm is gonna go forward, palm on the inside. Your neck is part of your spine. So stretch from the heel, the right heel to the left fingertip. And maybe you feel a diagonal stretch in your upper body. So don't sink into your lower back, activate the core. And then bring your left arm to the left, right leg to the right. See if you can hold it here. So whoever doesn't have strong abdominals here, that might be just too much. So then you can just drop your big toe on the floor to hold, but continue to breathe. And then coming back, reaching the left arm back forward and bring the left hand down, right knee down. So take a breath here. Reach the left leg back and press your heel away, press your hands down. So the body will move a little bit towards the back, that's okay. Strong upper body, so you want to be straight in your upper body. You don't want to lift the left hip, the hips remain parallel to the floor, and then lift the left leg. So find that balance before we're gonna reach the right arm forward. Toes are slightly pointing in, so you can always have a look. Sometimes it's difficult to know what's happening there in the back. And then reach your right arm forward, but really, really reaching. Palm on the inside, you're looking down to your mat. Inhale, exhale. Active core, maybe a diagonal stretch. And then bring the right arm to the right, the palm can face down, the left leg to the left, and hold it here. But don't hold your breath. And then coming back to center, right hand down, left knee down. We're gonna go for 5 cat and cows just to warm up the spine a little bit. So let's inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly button, roll the shoulders back, and the neck is following, and then you look forward. So go at your own rhythm for a total of 5 cycles of breath, following the rhythm of your breath. If you need to stay a little bit longer on one side, just because it feels good to feel that stretch, when you're rounding the spine, really press into your hands so that you can open again the back, the upper back, that you can open your neck as your chin goes towards your chest. And then after your 5, coming back to a neutral spine and release. Let's walk our hands back, tuck the toes, and then come and sit on our knees. So if you have painful knees, you can roll your mat. If you have the kneecap that's very sensitive, that's possible. You can always make a little roll with a small towel so that your kneecap is actually going to fit into that donut, if you want. So from here, hips and knees are aligned. The core is strong. It's going to hold you up for now. So we don't want to compress too much into the lower back. Place your hands, the heel of the hands, on the lowest part of your spine. So just where the sacrum starts. So, and then press very gently your tailbone, your hips, your bum down a little bit. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back, open the chest. Take a breath in and then start to go backwards, but starting from your shoulders. So from the height of your shoulders, you're starting to go back. So we're not pushing the belly button forward. So this is where the core is relaxed, but not totally relaxed. It's in between the two because it still has to hold us. Otherwise, we would fall into our lower back. So finding that balance between tightening the core, the abdominals, and releasing. So it's an exploration of the movement. You can continue to look forward. You can look up to the ceiling, and please continue to breathe. If you feel your breath is stopping, come back. It means you went a little bit too far. Continue to press your elbows back, lifting the chest up, tailbone gently goes down. We're gonna do this 2 times, and then come back up with an inhale. Second time, you can do the same thing, or if you want to bring your hands onto your heels, if you have a bit more flexibility in the spine, go for it. So I'd like to do it to approach it this way by putting one hand on the heel, the other hand on the heel. My hips are back now, so I place my hands onto my heels, and then I start to press my hips forward. You can feel a stretch in the quadriceps. The shoulders are back. If this is too much, you just come back up, you place your hands onto your bum. Continue breathing again, opening up, creating space in the chest, extending those muscles so we can breathe better, the heart can beat in all freedom. And then slowly coming back up, very slowly. Untuck your toes and come and sit onto your heels. So we're just gonna give ourselves the time to realign the spine. Taking a few breaths here. And then slowly walking the hands towards the front. You're gonna place your forearms onto the floor, and your elbows and shoulders are aligned. Your fingers are wide, so you don't want your elbows to glide out. So really press them down. And now tuck your toes, going into dolphin. So let's start to press into the toes, lift your hips up, keep the knees bent, push your forearms forward. So they don't move on the mat, but it's that impression of pushing forward so that the head can come in between your arms. So it's a big stretch into the shoulders. Your spine is quite neutral. If you want to go further, you can lengthen your legs. Inhale, exhale. And then release. Untuck the toes. Just for a moment, come into child's pose. Bring your arms to the back and let your shoulders drop down. Forehead ideally resting on the floor. If it's too far, I suggest that you use a block or something to put on your forehead. We won't stay here too long. Take a few breaths into your back. And then let's reach our hands forwards again. Come onto your knees, tuck your toes, and slowly moving into downward dog. So press into your hands, roll the shoulders out, keep your knees bent for now. Find your neutral spine. So here, this is one of the poses where you wouldn't think you would use your core, but if you want to explore, just release totally in your abdominals and you will feel how you're going to fall through. So to keep the spine quite neutral, the core is always going to be active. It's in this position. It's not a natural position, but it's going to help us to lengthen out into our spine. Roll the shoulders out. And now slowly start to walk your dog. So on the spot, bending one knee, the other knee. So be very conscious about the movement, but also very conscious about your upper body. There's nothing changing in the upper body. We're just stretching out in the legs, wherever it needs to be stretched out. And then bend both your knees again and lift your hips. Find that length. So your belly button is moving a little bit towards your thighs here. And then lengthen out the legs. Take a few breaths into your downward dog. And then let's inhale and come into a plank. So plank, of course, is the movement for your abdominals, for your core. So let's explore. Press into your hands. Don't sink in between your shoulders. And now drop your hips down. So now we're really releasing into the belly, into the lower back. So the core is all neutral here. It's not a very comfortable pose, I would say. At least you wouldn't stay here for very long. So activate the core. Come back into your plank. Now bring the knees down, the chest down, the elbows are gonna move back, and then inhale, coming to your first cobra. So elbows back, shoulders back. You can press your hands down, but pull them back so that your chest is coming forward, same as we did in Sphinx, or as we do in Sphinx, sorry. And then exhale, release. So the core is not just the abdominal, the core is also the lower back and the side body, of course, the waist. So we're gonna work a little bit on strengthening the lower back. Press your feet, the top of your feet down, and then interlace your hands in the back. If this is too much for you, you can place your palms down alongside your body. So your arms are alongside your body, palms facing down. Otherwise, interlace. Roll the shoulders back. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come back down. Next time, inhale and stay. Roll the shoulders back. The neck is part of your spine. So the neck is following the natural curve of your spine. So you don't necessarily want to look forward. You're going to gaze somewhere diagonally in front of you. Keep on breathing here. And then exhale, release. Release your hands. Place your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, press into your hands. And here the core is active so that you can come back into your downward dog. Walk a little bit. Strong hands, strong arms, shoulders are wide, upper back is wide. And then inhale, lift your right leg up and bend your right knee. Open your hips. So as you do this, often too, what happens is that we're gonna curve the lower back. So make sure you can keep that integrity of the whole body and lengthening the spine here. So neutral spine, bending the knee, hips are stacked on top of each other. Inhale, exhale, release, bring the right foot back down. Other side, so lift up first. Find that length and your stability in a three-legged dog. Bend the knee and open up. Keep the length. So you might have to activate your abdominals a bit so that you can keep that length into your lower back, into your lower body. And then release, bring the left foot down. We're gonna inhale back into a plank. This time we're gonna go into a side plank for the side of our waist. So if you go into the full side plank, roll over onto the outer left side of your left foot. And then you can bring the right foot on top or in the front. Reach your right arm up. Lift your hips, press your hips forward. So strong body. If this is too much, you're gonna bring the left knee down and bring the left foot all the way out. And then the right foot, the left knee and the left hand are in one line, and then lift up. And then to work the obliques here, you're gonna lift your leg. So this is a little bit working in the hip stabilizers as well, which is a preparation for balances. Opening the chest, and then coming back down, back into your plank or plank onto the knees, and then turning to the other side. So flipping over on the outside of your right foot, lifting your left arm. Make sure you don't sink into your hips. So really lift your hips forward and press your hips up. If you can from here also lift your leg if you want, or come onto your knee. And then release, bring the knees down. And again, rest the wrist. So come into your child's pose or seated on your knees. Shake out your wrists. Bring your head down. Take 3 or 4 breaths here. And then again, bring the hands to the front. Come onto hands and knees, tuck your toes, and downward facing dog. So eventually you're going to find comfort in your downward facing dog. Feel the energy moving from your hands as you inhale all the way to your hips. So find that length in your spine, widening of the shoulder. As you exhale, the energy flows from your hips down to your heels. So if your lower back is rounding, keep your knees slightly bent. Inhale, exhale. Let's lift the right leg up and bring the right foot in between the hands. You can keep your left hand on the floor or on a block if you have a block. Keep the left foot, the left heel pointing back. So we're in a very low lunge here. If this is too much, you can always bring your left knee onto the floor. And then inhale, reach your heart forward so that we have length into the spine. Your back leg should be very active here. And then as you exhale, start to open up. So from your tailbone, imagine the rotation that happens in your spine. So totally opening up, reaching the right arm towards the sky, pressing into your left hand. And here's again that balance in your abdominals. It has to hold us, but we also have to be able to rotate. So if you're too stiff, you won't be able to too active in your abdominals, you won't be able to rotate. So you can go even further, but don't just throw your arm back. So your arm is part of your whole upper body if it goes back. If this is too much for your wrist, come onto your fist. And then slowly coming back. Let's place both hands down and move back into your downward dog. Inhale, come into plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. So chaturanga, eye of the elbows come to the front. Lower down until the upper arms are parallel with the floor. And then inhale, roll over your toes and come up. Again, that balance in the core between holding and releasing. And then exhale, downward dog. This time, let's lift the left leg up. Bring the left foot in between your hands. And stay in your low lunge or drop your right knee down. So adjust so that your right wrist and right shoulder are in one straight line. This is just so that the bones are stacked, so the muscles are just wrapping around, so there's less effort in the muscles. So long back leg, again, reach your heart forward. Sometimes it helps to just bring the arm forward to feel that length. Press your back heel back. So it's still an opening also in the legs. And then start to rotate from your tailbone. So if you want to feel it in a different way, you can place your left hand and then imagine you're unrolling your spine, reaching up. Press into your supporting arm. If you want to go a little bit further, go. Keep on breathing. And then exhale, bring the hand down and come back into your downward dog. So the vinyasa, the flow is always your option. You can come into plank, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. This time, let's lift the right foot up again and bring the right foot in between the hands. This time, bring the left knee down. And then come up. So right knee above the ankle or a little bit behind. Hands onto your thigh. And then exhale, let go into your hips. So gravity is playing here. We don't want to push down. Roll the shoulders back. Shoulder blades down, opening the chest. If you want, you can bring your arms to the side and open up. So again, opening the chest. We want to release into those hips in the groin area. And then exhale, come back to the front. This time, walk your right foot to the side, bring both hands on the inside of your right foot. And you can open up your right knee and come onto the outside of your right foot. You can gently place your hands onto your right thigh if you want to. Keep your spine long. But see if we can release into the hip to really let the hip open up without falling onto the side. And then bring the foot back down, back to the center, tuck your back toe, lift, and come into downward dog. Again, a flow, so inhale, plank, exhale, chaturanga or knees just chin, inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Go with your breath in every movement. And then let's lift the left leg up, left foot between your hands, right knee on the floor. So find the balance here. And then come up. Inhale, exhale, release. And again, if you want to open your arms, if it means that you're not too balanced, and so when we're not too balanced, our muscles are going to contract and then we cannot release. So most important is opening in the right groin area. So if you're not balanced, keep your hands onto your thighs. If you are, and you can just relax, open your chest, bring your arms back. You can look up without bending too much in the neck, just following the curve of your spine. And then release your hands, walk your left foot out, and then open up those hips. So open the hip towards the side very gently. And then slowly coming back, tucking the back toe, lift the knee and come back into downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to walk the dog forward, but go slow. Take steps, place the toes, and then maybe place the heel. Go very, very slow. And then when you arrive at the front, bend your knees so that you can fold forward comfortably. You can feel a little stretch in the back of your legs, but you have to be able to breathe. If you feel something in your lower back, bend your knees a little bit more. Drop your head down. And then place your hands behind you. Whether you come onto the ankles or onto the calf muscles, that's really depending on you. And then start to lengthen the legs, pulling onto your legs with your hands and folding a little bit more forward. So explore again here with your core. What is happening? So my lower back is definitely opening up a little bit. It's mainly the back legs. My side muscles are just supporting me in my waist. And my core, my abdominals are in between the two. Relaxed and tense. Tense in a good way, I mean. And then bend your knees, release your hands. Start to lengthen your spine. Your belly is still onto your thighs. Place your hands onto your hips and now press into your feet to push yourself up. So you don't want to be forcing onto your back here, and release. So just shake it out a little bit. Shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Maybe move a little bit from side to side. And come to center. So we will start with the first balance pose. We're going to do the 3 today. So know that balance pose is very dependent on what's happening in your mind. So if you're balancing and you start to think about something, you're probably going to fall out. On the other side, balancing is a good way to calm the mind. So you can use it both ways. If you need a support, I suggest for the tree pose to go to the wall. Place your fingertips onto the wall. Don't put your full hand, because if you decide to then explore the balance without the wall, you're going to probably push yourself up. There's much more energy in the whole palm than there is just the fingertips that you can just lift like this. So let's come into a mountain pose to start. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back, activate. So you want to activate the quadriceps. You want to activate the core here, but not to the point that you can't breathe. It's not, as unfortunately many women think, like the bikini body. That's not what we want to achieve here. We just want to find strength and support into our core, because it does support a lot. And then lift the sternum, the breastbone up, shoulders roll back, shoulder blades go down, lengthen your neck, and then maybe the chin's coming down a little bit. So strong legs, strong body. And this is what we have to remember for balancing. We want to keep our body in a mountain pose with every balance we do. Even if we're bending forward and doing crazy things like that, it's that integrity of our whole body that's going to help us to balance. So place your hands onto your hips, and you're going to keep them there until you're stable in your legs. Lift the right heel. So as you do that, you bring all the weight into your left leg. So be conscious about it. Don't sink into the left hip. So often we're going to just sink, and then this whole upper body is not doing anything anymore. So keep the whole body working. Open your right leg, your right knee, your right hip. And then options. Toes on the floor, heel on the inside. If you have a block, you can always put the block next to it and come a little bit higher. So otherwise, the foot is below your knee, the foot is below your knee, or you can go a little bit higher and bring the foot above your knee. So from here, again, remember the mountain pose and press into your supporting leg, so that automatically is going to activate your whole upper body. If your balance is not very present today, stay here. Don't add any arms. It's just cherry on the cake. However, if you want to explore, first bring your hands to your heart. And then you can bring your arms up, or in cactus, whatever tree you want to be today. Focus on a point in front of you that doesn't move. Strong supporting leg, strong core, open chest. And then very slowly bring the hands back in front of your heart, onto your hips, and then lift your knee up and bring the foot down. Let your arms go by your side. Just observe one side to the other. So your supporting leg just worked quite a lot. The other leg was more a combination of stretching and strengthening. Bring the hands onto the hips, find your mountain pose. Before you start, find your mountain pose. And eventually mountain pose becomes the standard. Lift your left heel. Make sure your hips remain balanced. Open up. And then we're going to go to the same side as the other side. And I don't remember which height I went. So same side as the other side. Activate the standing leg. Activate your core. So the whole body is working for this pose. And when you're stable, so really at your own pace, slowly bring the hands in front of your heart. And then if you want to grow your branches. If you fall out, start from your foundation. Like It's like rebuilding a house on a broken foundation. It's never going to work. And then bring the hands in front of your heart, on your hips. Turn the knee forward and bring it down. And again, arms alongside your body. Before you shake it out, just observe. There should be a little bit more balance from one side to the other now. And then release. Now you can shake it out. So we're going to do a series of the warriors. And for those who asked for a little bit more abdominal work, pay attention to your abdominals. So, sorry, don't hesitate to really feel with your hands. So instead of going into a full warrior, maybe just feel and explore and see how activating the core here can really make a difference into your pose. You don't have to do that. It's just because there was a request for that today. So I just wanted to point that out. So come to the front of your mat. Again, come into your mountain pose. So try to practice your mountain pose as much as possible. We're standing so much in line these days. So this is all very, very beautiful occasions. You can practice also the tree pose when you're waiting in line. Just know you have 2 meters separation from anything you can hold on to. So mountain pose, and then inhale, reach up. So reach your arms up, keep the shoulder blades down. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, long spine. So hands on the tibia, on the thighs, on the floor, wherever works for you. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands down and bring the right leg back for warrior one. So front foot points forward, back foot slightly out. And from here, with your hands down, so maybe your knees very bent here, see if you can turn the hips parallel with the front of the mat. Probably your back heel is going to lift a little bit. So lift it a little bit more to help you, maybe move it a little bit so that you can move your hips forward. And then very slowly come up. So here already the core is active to bring you up. It's not the lower back that's pushing. It's really the core. So that's what happens when you work with the hip crease. Place your hands onto your hips, start to bend your front knee and press the outside of your back foot into the floor. Inhale, open the chest without pressing the shoulder blades together. You're just creating space so your shoulders go out. Exhale, go a little bit deeper. Watch out that your lower back doesn't curve too much. So when we release a lot into the abdominals, it's all like the belly falls forward. So it's finding that balance between the front and the back of our core here. So continue to press the back heel, the outside of the back foot into the floor, maybe come a little bit deeper. And then reach your arms up if you want to. Again, cactus is possible as well. You can keep your hands onto your thighs, onto your hips if you want to, whatever works for you. You can also interlace your hands at the top, but watch out that your shoulders don't move forward. So keep the armpits open, whatever movement you make. And then an indication of the tailbone popping up is the floating ribs popping forward. So bring the tailbone a little bit more down so that your floating ribs come back into a neutral position. I know it's a lot of things. So just pick up what works for you today, and otherwise just do your warrior two without thinking. Maybe if that's what you need, that's what you need. And then exhale. Bring the hands in the back, interlace your hands, roll the shoulders back. This time shoulder blades are kissing. Open the chest. Press that back foot into the floor so we don't go into a balance here. And then with a straight back, straight meaning neutral, coming forward. So continue to press that back foot down. Your core is going to hold you here. Inhale, exhale. And then release your hands. Place your hands onto the floor a little bit in front of your foot. Lift your back heel. So we're going into our second balance. You can hop your back foot a little bit more forward. Walk your hands a little bit more forward. Your left knee can stay bent. And then lift your right leg up. So look at your toes of the right foot. Are they pointing out? If they are, point them a little bit more in so that your hips remain parallel with the floor. Exhale, fold forward. So balancing on that left leg. So you can keep your left knee bent if you want to. If you want a little bit more challenging balance, lengthen that leg and then grab your ankle, one hand, two hands. It's a forward fold, so let your upper body drop down. And then from here, take a big step back with your right foot, open up for warrior two. So my front knee is bent and I'm gonna windmill my arms. And again, what happens with my core? My core is the one bringing me up, especially the abdominals, not so much the lower back. So adjust your feet if you need to. Inhale, exhale, come a little bit lower. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades down, widen upper back, stretch out from the armpits till the fingertips, gaze at your left hand. Inhale, exhale, go a little bit deeper. So now we're gonna experiment a little bit. If you would relax into your core, what happens? Most probably your shoulders are gonna drop down, your chest is gonna close, and you won't be able to stand very long. Your legs are holding you here, but the rest of the body is important as well. Turn the front palm up and we're gonna go for 3 breaths. So inhaling, and you can look at your arms, exhaling back, or you stay for 3 breaths, it's up to you. Inhaling up, warrior 4, exhaling. You keep that front leg bent. Inhaling, and then exhaling back into our warrior 2. We're gonna bend the left elbow and then reach the right arm up and over, finding that stretch onto your right side. Maybe you can bend your front knee a little bit more. And if you really want to do some core work here, both arms parallel next to your ears. So make sure you're still breathing. And then release. Start to lengthen the front leg. Lift the right arm up to the sky. Find length into your upper body. So you don't want to be all bendy into the upper body and falling forward and saying, yes, I can touch the floor, because that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for length into the upper body, opening in the inner thigh, lengthening the right arm, even falling back a little bit. So falling back, don't give yourself the impression you're falling back by just pulling the arm back. It's the whole chest that's going to open up. This whole time I was leaning onto my left leg. So now I'm going to release and open up. Your neck in line with your spine, or you can look up to your right hand. Strong legs. Ooh, my mat is slipping. And then inhale, coming back up. Exhale, warrior 2. Bring your hands onto your hips and then lengthen the front leg and bring both feet pointing forwards. So roll the shoulders back, elbows back, hands into your hip crease. So fingers are really into that soft spot, and then start to move forward. Straight back. Press your fingers into your hip crease so that your hips are pushing back. You might feel like an opening into your pelvic floor. Don't worry, it's not going to break. So elbows pointing up, shoulders back, neck part of your spine. Inhale, and then slowly let your upper body fall down. So your head becomes very heavy, your spine becomes heavy, and drop your hands wherever they're gonna come. So again, no pain in the lower back here. If this hurts, bend your knees a little bit. If it hurts too much, place your hands onto the floor or onto a block, so that you're supported. You don't want to overstretch the lower back. So exhaling, really enjoying the weight of our upper body. And then slowly bring the hands down, starting to walk your feet a little bit closer. Eventually having your feet as wide as your hips. And again, fold forward, bending the knees, lengthening the spine. And with the power of your legs, strong upper body. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Release your arms. So let's go to the other side. So come into your mountain pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. So keeping your mountain pose, but maybe feel a little bit more length into your spine. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, long spine, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, this time left foot comes back for warrior one. So position your hips, explore, play a little with your back heel, and then lengthen your upper body. And with your core, with your legs, come up. So it's your abdominals here that are gonna do all the work. You don't wanna pull onto your lower back, otherwise you're not gonna like yoga tomorrow. Inhale, so first position your legs so that your hips are as much parallel with the front of the mat. Once you're there, maybe you can bend a little bit more. Press the outside of your back foot into the floor and then reach your arms up. Inhale, exhale. See what happens with your tailbone, what happens with your floating ribs, what happens with your shoulders, your chest. It's like a little check-in. So we want to arrive in the pose and then stay another breath or two. And then exhale, bring the arms down, interlace your hands, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades kiss, open up, long upper body, press into your back foot, and then come on the inside of your right leg. So we're moving slowly so you can really feel and arrive into the pose instead of just jumping into the pose and then having to gather all the muscles and all the joints and everything and your breath to be able to stay. So that's why I prefer to move slowly. And then release your hands, place them in the front, lift your back foot, maybe hop it a little bit closer, and then start to lift your back leg up. So watch your toes, have a look at the left toes, point them a little bit more in if needed. Inhale, exhale. And then with your next exhale, take a big step back for your warrior two. Windmill your arms up and find your warrior two. So again, the core is active here. The feet are strong into the floor. Gaze at your front arm, front fingers without really looking. And then turn the front palm up, and for 3 breaths, you stay there or you move. Inhaling up, exhaling. Inhaling up, exhaling. Last time. And then exhaling, bending the elbow, bring the left arm up and over, reaching forward. And so again, if you want to, we're in between two walls here, so we're not leaning forward. We want to really be long. If you want to work a little bit more in the core, you're going to bring both arms next to your ears. And then release. Start to lengthen the front leg, lift the left arm up. Rotate your spine back so that you can open your chest, but the whole body turns back. Lengthen. And then release the support if you want. And then you can look up. And then slowly release, come back into your warrior two. Inhale, this time, turn towards the front, lift your back heel, reach your arms up. And exhale, bring your hands down and come into downward dog. We're gonna gently walk the dog a few times. Dance the dog, maybe whatever feels good. And then slowly bring the knees down, walk your hands back, and let's come into a seated position. So the only really pose for the abdominals in yoga is the boat pose. I have a twisted tailbone because of my scoliosis, so I don't have a lot of balance there. The most important is that your spine remains neutral. So you can lean back, that's okay, but don't round your spine. Your feet are on the floor to start with, your hands behind your thighs, roll the shoulders back, elbows back, and then lean a little bit back, activate your abdominals. Lift your left leg up. Maybe the right leg follows, otherwise you're just gonna alternate between one and the other. So from here, you can let go of your hands. That's step one. You can keep there, maybe stretch out your legs a little bit more, wherever you are. So explore what you want to do. And then exhale, release, cross your legs, place your hands down, and just lift up. Eventually, we'll do that with the legs lifted as well. Let's do this again. So choose your version of it. So you can lengthen out the legs. You can open the arms. You can also grab the big toes and then open your legs. I'm not going to do that today. And then cross the legs differently. And again, just gently lift up. And then let's stretch out the legs. Or actually keep them slightly bent. Lengthen your spine, take a deep breath in, and then very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, let's come all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring the knees a little bit closer, but press your sacrum down. So your lowest part of your back, press it down. Inhale. Exhale. Open your arms into a T. And then gently move your legs towards the left. So keep your right shoulder on the floor. If your knee don't touch the floor, make a choice. Do I want to open my chest more, or do I want to stretch a little bit more into my hip? So if the knees are here, maybe the shoulder can touch. If the knees are down, maybe my shoulder is lifted. If you have something to put underneath, whether it's the knees or the shoulder, go for it. Your knees should be ideally as high as your hips. So a little bit higher, you're going to round your spine. A little bit lower, you're going to curve your spine. So you want to be neutral. So releasing the breath here, slowly starting to calm the body. And then very slowly, you can turn the palm down to have a bit more support, to bring your legs up to the center. Turn the palms back up and then drop your knees towards the right or the other side. So again, make a choice if you have to make a choice. Releasing with every exhale. And then with your next inhale, coming back to center, stretch out your legs, left heel to the left corner, right heel to the right corner. Lower your arms a little bit. So you don't want to go all the way towards your hips, but stay halfway so that the shoulders can rest. Maybe you want to flip-flop your feet a few times to release a little bit in the hips and then let your feet flop out. Relax your forehead and your jaw. Feel your eyelids heavy, your eyes falling back, your ears relaxing, all the skin around your ears, the skin around your nose. With every exhale, let your shoulders go. They have nothing to support now. Feel the points of your body touching the floor and allow them to be heavy, supported. Let your breath be natural. And please stay here as long as you want, as long as you can, as long as you need. If you want to get out, just reconnect with your breath. Feel your body filling up with air and then emptying slowly. Start to move your toes, your ankles, fingers, your wrist, making a few faces, maybe rolling your head from side to side. And then bring the legs together, taking a deep breath in, bring your arms overhead, stretch yourself out. And then exhale, bring the knees into the chest, gently roll from side to side. And then roll over to your right side if that's comfortable. If not, go to the other side. Stay there for a few breaths. And then gently push yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed. Bring the hands in front of your heart. Gently tucking your chin. May your thoughts be peaceful. Your words kind and respectful. And may your heart always be filled with love. Thank you so much for sharing, for practicing. I wish you a wonderful week. Namaste.
Namaste.